A top story at this hour, snubbing Pakistan at the UN meet. Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj has termed terror as the single largest threat to peace and stability. Addressing a meeting of SAARC foreign ministers on the sidelines of UN General Assembly, the Indian Foreign Minister emphasized on the need of elimination of the global menace in all its forms. She said, and I quote, "Terrorism remains the single largest threat to peace and stability in our region and indeed in the world. It is necessary that we eliminate the scourge of terrorism in all its forms without any discrimination and end the ecosystem of its support." Talking about the need for regional cooperation, the Indian Foreign Minister stressed that regional cooperation can only be successful if it meets the expectations of the people. Later, at a BRICS ministerial meet, Sushma said that the BRICS leaders have given New Delhi a robust mandate on counter-terrorism at successive summits. She said, and I quote, "Dismantling terrorist organization support infrastructure would be the first step. Terror groups such as Lashkar-e-Taiba, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Taliban and Haqqani network are organized entities that thrive on state support." Meanwhile, after being snubbed by India, Pakistan Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi blamed India for hampering the spirit of the SAARC. Ahead of the SAARC meeting, there were reports that Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj may meet her Pakistani counterpart during the meeting. Sushma left the meeting after delivering her statement for a next meeting.
मेरी बात नहीं हुई और जेस्चर तो पॉजिटिव मैं ये कह सकता हूं कि वो बीच दौरान उठ गई मीटिंग के, हो सकता है तबीयत नासाज हो, लेकिन ये बड़ा वाजे है कि उनकी मैंने गुफ्तगू बड़े गौर से सुनी और उन्होंने रीजनल कोऑपरेशन की बात की। मेरा सवाल ये है कि रीजनल कोऑपरेशन मुमकिन कैसे होगी जब रीजन वाले मिल बैठने के लिए तैयार हैं और आप उस बैठक में रुकावट हैं। तो मुझे समझाइए इस खित्ते की और इस रीजनल कोऑपरेशन की पेशरफ्त कैसे मुमकिन है।
And joining us live for more is our principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibil, straight and live from New York. New York, it's dark there, Siddhant, and it's very bright and sunny here, first of all. And of course, interesting developments there at the UN in New York. You've been tracking them very closely. Siddhant, now, after we heard what Sushma said, it is not difficult to understand that Sushma was clearly referring to Pakistan in her statement.
Well, it was a day of dramatic development here at the UNGA, and the big focus was on that SAARC informal meet which took place in New York, and we saw what happened. The only word to describe that meeting, it was a big disaster. Pakistan was snubbed not only by India but by Afghanistan also. The Indian minister, the Indian External Affairs Minister, left the meeting after delivering her statement. The Afghan Foreign Minister did the same, made his statement and left the meeting, and the meeting which was to happen for almost 2 hours finished just in matter of 1 hour, just little more than 1 hour. And after that, the Pakistani Foreign Minister came out and was very critical of not only India but also on the Indian External Affairs Minister who left the meeting midway. He said that she left the meeting midway, and that shows the non-serious behavior of India. But overall, if we talk about what was the focus of India, as you have already mentioned, India's focus was the issue of cross-border terror, something that led to SAARC being boycotted by not only India, Afghanistan, Bhutan and Bangladesh, and that remained the focus today also. Pakistan was completely isolated at that SAARC meeting that took place on the sidelines of UNGA. The Pakistani foreign ministers were the only minister who came out and spoke, which shows that other leaders, other ministers who were present there were not very keen on talking about what they said in the meeting. meeting. It was a meeting that was a kind of an annual meet which everyone wanted to attend and just finish it as soon as possible and leave for other engagements. So it seems that SAARC is kind of dead for South Asian countries because of behavior of one country, that's Pakistan, because Pakistan is aiding and abetting terrorism, and that's destabilizing the entire region.
Right, Siddhant. It seems as if that India and Pakistan are clearly on two very different pages. Now, even after India cancelled talks with Pakistan, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, clearly said that they're still open for a peace dialogue. But now things seem to have taken a turn for the worse.
Well, rightly said, things have taken for a turn that's not only bad, but it's only going to create more tension between the two neighbors, India and Pakistan. And it has also set the tone for the UNGA speech, which will happen on Saturday. The Indian minister speaks first at 7:30 p.m. and later the Pakistani minister speaks. But the tone was also set by India ahead of the UNGA on Monday when the Indian minister spoke on the issue of terror, with Pakistan continuing to rake up Kashmir. Only on Wednesday there was this meeting of the OIC, Organization of Islamic Countries, in which Pakistan raked up Kashmir, and India slammed Islamabad for doing so. It not only slammed Islamabad, it slammed the Organization of Islamic Countries, saying that it has no loci standi and Kashmir is an internal issue of India, so the organization should not indulge in such activities. But overall the atmosphere remained tense in that very room. I was in that room for a brief period when the media was allowed to take the photos and do some more do photo ops in that meeting, and the body language of both the ministers was very tough, very stiff, and there was tough looking expressions also. They didn't even bother to look at each other, and whenever we were clicking the pics, they were looking at the opposite direction. So it seems no pleasantries weren't exchanged. That was the atmosphere inside the room where India and Pakistan came face to face for the first time here in New York. The Indian External Affairs Minister and the Pakistani Foreign Minister came face to face, and we know the focus of both the sides. India, of course, talking about cooperation, global cooperation. The Indian Prime Minister also got an award during the UNGA for environment and speaking on various important issues. But Pakistan going solo, raking up Kashmir, and Pakistan has completely been isolated. Example was given today during that SAARC meeting, which was complete disaster. But other South Asian neighbors have already started to speak against Pakistan. The Afghan representative, the chief executive of Afghanistan, Mr. Abdullah spoke from the United Nations General Assembly, that green podium, and lashed out at Pakistan. That same thing is expected on Saturday when India speaks.
Right, Siddhant, thank you for getting us all those updates. We'll be coming back to you, of course, as the UN General Assembly progresses further. And, of course, Siddhant will be getting us all those updates minute by minute from New York. Keep watching Wion for those updates.
SAARC Foreign Ministers meet is all set to take place on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. Delhi will be raising the issue of cross-border terror from Pakistan. Talks and terror can't go together. Follow me, Siddhant Sibal, as I bring you live and latest updates from the SAARC meet here in New York, only on Wion.